Hold on to your Justin Fields jerseys, everyone, because a legendary NFL reporter thinks the Chicago Bears have a trick up their sleeve. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy here with Chicago Bears React, bringing you all the Chicago Bears news you're seeking both during the season and now here in the off season. Before we dive into today's video, please, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Really helps the channel. It'll also help you because we're going to be covering all of the news coming out of Hallis Hall over the next weeks, months, years. As long as you're willing to watch this, we're going to be giving you the news that you crave about your Chicago Bears. Now, this morning, I woke up and saw a bombshell announcement on the old Twitter, which is that beloved and legendary NFL writer Peter King is retiring, which I wasn't ready for. And his whole address is worth reading through. This is somebody who has been covering the NFL for a very long time. He is widely regarded, widely respected, and he takes the time to go through everything from, just kind of his thoughts on his career to, some of the best quotes he's heard, some of the best games he got to cover. He discusses individuals that he covered, and toward the very bottom, because this is all kind of past focused, right? And then toward the very bottom, he decided to drop a few just random nuggets, kind of essentially emptying out his notebook, as if to say, here's some things that I was getting ready to share at some point, but I didn't get a chance to, so we're just going to do it now. And my, did he drop a bombshell regarding the Chicago Bears. And bear with me, I'm just going to read this. So, quote, "I suppose the Bears are going to trade the top pick." Now, he goes on and says, "I know nothing, but that seems to be the way the wind is blowing. What I say, the Bears could keep Justin," and he says they should, "and trade the first pick down once or twice and build the kind of supporting cast a team needs to contend." He goes on to give an exact example of what that could be. He says they could trade down to the second pick with Washington and get their second-round pick this year and a 2025 first-round pick. So for context there, he's basically saying the Bears get the number 2 pick, they get the second-round pick this year, and they get a first-round pick next year just to go down one spot. He continues. Now, the Bears, well, in fairness, the Bears could just stop right there and then say, you know what, we actually thought Drake May was pretty damn close. I think we're going to keep him. I think we're just going to take Drake May. Or they could say, we want Marvin Harrison. Or, as he proposes, they could trade down again. And they could make a trade with a team like Atlanta that's going to want to move up and get their quarterback. And he thinks they could get to move down to number 8, the second-round pick this year for Atlanta, and first and second-round picks next year. So to add that all up, for the Bears to move down 7 spots, he's saying they could come away with 2 second-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year, and an additional second-round pick next year. If you guys are hearing just random noises, that's my heartbeat just like going crazier than my doctor wants. The amount of blue chip type talent you could get for that is immense. The Bears do not have a second round pick this year, and they frankly kind of need one. Now, I don't feel too bad because when we don't pick in the second round at this point, that's because of Montez Sweat, and I'd rather have Montez Sweat than whoever's there in the second round. But the thought of walking away with the 8th and the 9th picks of this year's draft, 2 second-round picks, and then next year you get 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick, you have to ask yourself, is Caleb Williams worth that? And it's not even just, is Caleb Williams worth that? Is Caleb Williams that much better than Justin? Or let's take the Atlanta part out of it. Is Caleb that much better than Drake May? That you would pass up the opportunity to have a first round pick, an additional first round pick next year, and then a second round pick this year, just to move down one spot and take Drake May. We already actually covered that exact idea. Link in the description if you want to watch that video where we kind of talk about what if the Bears trade Justin and trade the first pick and they take Drake May. But I think here's why this is interesting to me. So obviously it's noted here. He says himself, I know nothing. He says that right off the bat. But then he says, but this seems to be the way the wind is blowing. And I'm wondering why he says that. Because frankly, as Jacob Infante actually points out, he's kind of the first person to report on this. And it's like, yeah, he carries some weight, but what about Schefter? What about Ian Rappaport? What about Tom Pelissero? Those people also carry a lot of weight. So, but what if the reporting he's hearing isn't what the Bears camp is going to do? Because let's be honest, I don't think anybody knows what the Bears are going to do. But I would bet he's got his finger on the pulse right now for what the Bears would receive or could receive for in terms of a trade from the Commanders, from maybe the Patriots. And his thought process is probably not as far off from what Ryan Poles would be thinking as we might think, which is if they are willing to offer all of that for Caleb, you have to consider it. Look, I didn't love the idea of trading away the number one pick. I've been pretty vocal on this channel from the very get-go that I think the Bears need to move on from Justin and restart with Caleb. Drake May is interesting to me, though. And I think in my wildest dreams did I not think you were going to get a second-round pick this year and a future first to move back one spot. And if that's true, if that's a real possibility, oh, man, I don't think Caleb is that much better than Drake. I really don't. So you'd have to ask yourself, well, why would Washington think that? Because clearly in this scenario, Washington would think that Caleb is that much better than Drake. To me, you've got a brand new ownership group that has Magic Johnson on board. They've they've really rolled out the red carpet for this kind of new wave of front office people. And they're desperate to make a splash. And as good as Drake May is from a talent perspective, from a press perspective, he's not well known. He played in North Carolina. He didn't play in any significant enough games to really have caught the attention of the media the way Mr. NIL did. Caleb Williams was kind of the first big NIL person. He's been in commercials. He was playing out in LA. He's been playing for Lincoln Riley. This is somebody who's won the Heisman. You're trying to sell tickets. The value of Caleb over Drake is a big deal. The Bears don't have those same things going on. They're going to sell season tickets no matter what. They're not worried about that. They don't have a new ownership group that's trying to make a big splash from day one. And so if they're like, man, we've got Caleb here and Drake here, and you can get a second round pick this year and a future first and still trade Justin for a second or first round pick this year, I'm just saying, that's tempting. That's because we've talked about it on this channel. The Bears need a starting center. They need a starting safety. They need a starting defensive end. And you're not going to find those players easily in the third or fourth round. You might be able to get a safety in the third round, possibly a starting caliber center, but not you're still rolling the dice a little bit. And I just think if you could walk away with a second round pick for this year and then still have yourself in position to have 2 first round picks next year, I'm excited. So, goodness, I gotta hear what you all are thinking though. So let me know in the comments. Does this tempt you enough that you want to go for it? Because it certainly tempted one Jeff Hughes, who runs the Bears blog, whose own tweet about this was, if the Bears can get the haul suggested by Peter here by trading the first pick, have to think they'd do it. Our team's really willing to give up that much to move up this year. Yeah, Jeff. Same thought. That's nuts. So let me know in the comments if you would do it. Would you pull the trigger on that? And if you do, is it to take Drake May at 2 or keep trading down and build around Justin Fields? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And as always, bear down.